Okay, guys, how's it going? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Andrea Massey, and today we're going to be talking to those of you who are nearing retirement, who are looking to optimize every single dollar that you have and make sure you're crushing your retirement goals, that every single dollar you have is working efficiently, working to hit every single goal that you have. So, we're talking to those of you who are 40 plus years old, nearing retirement, looking for that next step, how you can optimize your portfolio. Because the truth is, traditional retirement accounts, when we're looking at your 401k, IRA, Roth IRA, TSP, any traditional retirement account, they're fantastic when it comes to accumulation, getting your dollars working and growing for you. But the truth is, because of a little something called the 4% rule, even if you retire with $1 million inside of your portfolio, which less than 2% of Americans actually achieve, that can only safely produce you $40,000 a year. And if this is inside of your IRA or any type of account like your 401k, this is going to be before taxes. So what we do is we help people get a little clearer on what they actually want in retirement, because far too many people never ask these questions. They never sit down and figure out, okay, how much income do I actually need in retirement? And on the flip side of that, how much income do I want? What does it look like when I have protection? Do I need this inside of my portfolio? What can guarantees do for me? Have I optimized this wealth transfer? And when is the best time to do so? And those are all things that we're going to go over today. In fact, we like to use a little something with our clients. We work with people all over the US, and we like to use a little something called this funding priority pyramid. Now, this pyramid, it works up. We start here at the bottom with our essential needs. I'll do a little editing here. With our essential needs here. When we're looking at our essential needs, this is going to be any income that you're going to need to simply survive in retirement. Well, the good news is we have a couple different forms of annuities that a lot of people do retire with. One of those being Social Security. Did you know that Social Security is a form of annuity? And we're now seeing that about 1 in 4, and this number is dropping quickly, but they have a pension. Great, so those can help cover some of those essential needs. They can help have those be guaranteed, right? But a lot of people, there's still a form of a gap. In fact, if we look at this client up here, that is exactly what they had. This client, they were 62 and 64 years old. Their goal was to retire in 3 years. Social Security wasn't going to hit their goals because their income goals was to have $120,000, and they were hoping to have an extra $10,000 for vacations. Well, their Social Security was only going to produce about $67,000 of projected income. And if you guys have any questions here as we're rocking and rolling along, don't be afraid to drop those down in the comments. Here we go. So that leaves them with a gap of $65,000. Well, the good news is for this client, they had about $2.3 million. Using the 4% rule, they were still a little nervous about hitting their actual income goals. Well, when we used a tool built to do so, look what we were able to do. If they rolled over a little over $780,000, by the time they hit the age that they wanted to retire, 67 and 65 years old, they had a guaranteed income for life of over $65,000. So what does that do for this client in particular? Well, their income, it's now at over $131,000 and $65,000 of that guaranteed for life. And the liquidity factor, look at this. They had $2.3 million. They only needed a little over $780K. So that left them over $1.5 million still liquid. So when we take that back to the funding priority pyramid, this individual, they didn't have a pension, right? But we were able to use Social Security and what's called a fixed indexed annuity to reach their income goals. And they still had this $1.5 million liquid. Well, they walked into retirement and they were lucky enough to already have an emergency fund that they felt pretty comfortable with, leaving the rest of this for fun money and legacy. Well, when we look down here, we can see that fund money, this is beautiful because inflation is a very real thing in retirement. If you have $1.5 million in something like risk-based assets, you might even feel a little bit more comfortable being more aggressive because your income, your base is guaranteed for life. Then we move up the pyramid, right? And now we're looking at this legacy. If you have children, if you have some type of charity that you want to pass these funds on to, beautiful. We can use tools that allow you to pass on the most for the least, like life insurance. Maybe we even use something like real estate and we get this set up inside of a trust. So you're skipping probate and you're really having things set up correctly. Or maybe this is more risk-based assets, right? But when we create this full plan here, using the funding priority pyramid, what that does is it just allows you to have that plan. So you're not stumbling into retirement. You actually know, okay, I have these guaranteed paychecks, and these individuals even locked in those guaranteed play checks for life. So how are we able to do this? What is this tool that we're actually using here? This tool is called a fixed indexed annuity. A fixed indexed annuity allows you to take something like your 401k, your IRA, your Roth IRA, and roll it over tax and penalty free. When you roll those dollars over, they are now guaranteed to be protected from market risk. This is huge. Why is this so important? Because how many of you have heard of sequence of returns risk? It doesn't matter if you have a high average rate of return, if you have a couple years that come in and obliterate that. We can go over that in just a minute, but let's keep walking through why a fixed indexed annuity can be a good tool. This isn't necessarily something that should be your end all be all, right? But when it comes to retirement income, this can be a fantastic tool for you, because what else this tool can do is it has the potential for no fees. It can produce up to 2 times more income. That is so powerful. And it can guarantee that income for life. Let's look at an example that it did exactly that. Check this out. These clients, they were nearing retirement and they had a TSP with about $750,000 in it. This is Ben and Chelsea here. They had $750,000 inside of their TSP. They wanted to retire in about 5 years' time at about age 67. So if we go over here, at age 67, assuming an 8% rate of return and that industry standard 4% withdrawal rate, well, what does that do? That only gives them a little over $38,000 of projected income. On the flip side of that, if they roll that over into this fixed indexed annuity, assuming a very conservative 3% growth rate. Friends, we've been doing a lot of reviews, and recently, most of our clients have been falling around 14, 15%. This is assuming a 3% growth rate and that payout percentage of 9.25, because annuities, fixed indexed annuities, are built for income purposes. And what this does is it gave them a guaranteed joint income of over $80,000. This income is guaranteed for the rest of both of their lives. So guess what happens? If Ben passes away, this about $80,000 worth of income is guaranteed for the rest of Chelsea's life. And same with the flip side of that. So if changes happen, you know your spouse is guaranteed to have that income every single year for the rest of your life. How powerful is that when it comes to income, right? And of course, we're not saying this is for everything, because then we're using this pyramid. For them, they add Social Security to that. They move up the pyramid and they still had more funds to get that fund money locked in, to use something like those risk-based assets, and then to look at legacy. So why is this so important? Because we frequently get the question where people say, hey, you know what? I actually have done 10% inside of my 401k recently. So why would I do this? Because I can safely pull 10% from my accounts if I'm averaging that. Because it's not about the average rate of return. Sequence of returns. Two things happen when you retire, and these are very powerful. You stop saving money. You've probably been saving at this point for 30 or 40 years. And in one day, you stop saving and you start pulling income. The game completely changes. This is no longer a win-lose game where you have time to make money up, right? Ride out those waves. The market goes up and down, and we love that, right? There's so many different things that you can do to utilize those ups and downs. But as you're nearing retirement, you run out of a little something called time. You no longer have time to bounce back from those crazy market dips that can happen. And when you're in retirement, those dips, a little tweak, a wrong turn when it comes to the sequence of the market returns can obliterate your retirement. Check this out. Here we have Mr. Smith and Mrs. Jones. They each have $100,000 here. If we go up to the top here, hopefully you guys can see that. They each have $100,000 here. 60% stocks, 40% bonds. Same thing over here, Mr. Smith, Mrs. Jones. Well, the only difference here is Mrs. Jones, she retired in 1979. Well, Mr. Smith, he retired 10 years earlier in 1969. Well, if you look at these years, 1969, there was some early down years, right? Negative 2.6, not crazy. But then we go to age 69, and he had some good years in between there. Look at that, 5.3, 10.5, 12.9. Then at age 69 in 1973, negative 6.6, 74, negative 12.6, 75, though he did pretty good. 25.1, 76, 16.5. He's probably feeling pretty good at this point. Then he has another down year, small, negative 2.4. From there on out, he was cruising for the most part. Good years, 14.7, 23.9. But what happened by age 85? By age 85, his account was exhausted. He ran out of money because those early down years obliterated his retirement. And what happened? Well, he was forced to return back to work. And look at how interesting this is here. His average rate of return was 10.5. Miss Jones over here, her average rate of return was only 9.6. He had a higher average rate of return, but look at what happened just because Mrs. Jones, she didn't plan it this way. No one knows what the market's going to do. But in her case, 1979, 14, 23, 3, 16, 16. She had some really good years, a 22, 12, 22. She had some volatility later on, right? Little negativity, 9.3, 3.8, 20.5. But at age 95, she still had almost $600,000 inside of her account, even though she had that lower rate of return. Because in retirement, the game completely changes. This is no longer a win-lose game. This is a win-win game. And remember, when we're looking at fixed indexed annuities, that's exactly what they let you do. When the market dips, you are guaranteed to be protected from that market risk. When the market performs, you participate in that growth. In fact, if we go look at the definition of a fixed indexed annuity, a fixed indexed annuity provides guaranteed protection from the risk of the market, right? But you can still participate in the growth of certain indexes, like the S&P 500, earning an attractive rate of return that is tied to the market without being directly invested. This is not a tool where you're going to get 100% of the market growth. It's not how it works. You participate in some of that growth. You're guaranteed to be protected when the market dips, and your income, the income you can get from these accounts can be up to twice as much income, because annuities are the only retirement vehicle that can provide guaranteed income for life and guaranteed protection from market risk. These are an income tool. And when we use it as that income tool, we get back to that funding priority pyramid, right? We just simply use it as the tool that it's meant to be, to cover all these essential needs and allow you more liquidity for things like risk-based assets, for things like your legacy, to allow you more peace, more security in retirement. We'll walk through one more example of what this did for one of our clients. These are such powerful tools that can help you. And if you're about 10 years or less out from retirement, look at what this can do for you. We have clients that are taking money that might have been inside of bonds or CDs, and what they're doing is we can lower that risk and increase that return, even providing them guaranteed income for life. Look at this over here. This individual here, he had an old 401k with $325,000 in it. He was 52 years old. Well, a lot of the time for rolling these dollars over, you actually get a bonus for doing so. In this example, his bonus was a little over $35,000. We can go over one more example too, where it was actually a 25% bonus, which is crazy. But that day one brought his account balance up, right? Over the next 10 years, his account value grew to a little over $859,000 of projected income. But his income isn't based on that. It's based on his income base, which was a little over $1.4 million because of this performance multiplier of 7.5% a year. What that did for him is at age 62, it gave him a guaranteed income of over $66,000. Keep in mind, this individual never rolled over another penny. This is a one-time rollover of $325,000, giving him a guaranteed income of over $66,000. Now, we get a lot of questions about these bonuses, how these bonuses work, what they look like, and it really just depends on what product you're looking at. When these fixed indexed annuities get rocking and rolling, there's so many different ways that we can structure them. The further you are out from retirement, we might want more growth before we switch to income. There's hybrid. There's so many different things we can do. We're very selective on who we work with. We only want to work with these A+ rated companies. Because when we're using words like guarantee, which you can't use very often in this space, but in this circumstance, we can guarantee your dollars are protected and guarantee your income for life. And guess what? We want to make sure that those promises, those guarantees are kept. And a guarantee is only as strong as the guarantor, which is why we make sure that we work with very reputable companies that are fully collateralized, that have those strong ratings. So you can feel comfortable knowing that that guarantee, it means something. It comes from a strong rated company. When we look at these bonuses, look at this. This individual, he was rolling over $500,000. His bonus, 25%. So day one, he's 56 years old. He rolled over $500,000 and immediately went up to $625,000. His goal was to retire at 62. Now, I want you to keep in mind, $500,000 inside of something like his 401k, that can only safely produce about $20,000 a year before taxes, right? Now, of course, here we are letting this grow for a few years. We're waiting until age 62. Well, with rolling over that $500,000 into this fixed indexed annuity, that gave him a guaranteed income for life. Guaranteed income, $53,500 every single year for the rest of his life. This is what we do. This is what we specialize in, is helping people optimize their retirement income. Because it's all about having the right tools for the job, right? A hammer doesn't do you much good if you're working with screws. And what we do is when it comes to income, we can help you up to double that income. We can help you guarantee that income for life. And most importantly, we can let you in on the secret to what Wall Street Journal says is a happy retirement. If we go over here, the Wall Street Journal said the secret to a happy retirement is friends. We all got to have friends, neighbors, and if it'll load for us, annuities, right? Friends, neighbors, and annuities. Because when everyone else is stressing if the market dipped, you can still golf. Your income is guaranteed for life. And when the market grows, when the market does well, if we're using this funding priority pyramid correctly here, you can still have dollars that are participating in that, right? Remember this couple here that still had $1.5 million participating in that, locking in their legacy, allowing you to feel more peace, more security. And it's even now been proven that you'll be able to spend more because you've been saving your entire life. And it's hard to switch to, okay, I can relax now. I can spend my money. I did it. I made it. I'm in retirement. And this can be a tool that can help you get crystal clear on how much income you can spend, up to double that income, guarantee it for life, and allow you the peace and security that you deserve in retirement. So if you'd like to see what that looks like, this is what we do every single day. We help people from all over the nation do exactly that. And if you would like to find out why over $400 billion last year was rolled over into annuities, if you'd like to see what this can do for you, we can hop into a completely free one-on-one, break it down, hop on the calendar, and see what this would look like for you. You can click the link in our bio, or you can text the word rollover to our business line, 385-644-6541. My name's Andrea. I appreciate you guys being here for us. We've done a lot of short form content, but we're going to be live here with you guys more. So let us know if you have a question you're wondering about, something that you've heard about annuities that you thought, hey, you know what? My friend said this. Well, let's address that because there's a lot of myth going on here. And we need to make sure that we find out what's true and what's not. I did a video breaking down the pros and guess what? The cons, because it's important you know if this is the right thing for you. But we can also do that in the one-on-one, breaking that down for you and showing, hey, I don't actually know. Would an annuity be a good tool for you? We can break that down. We can see what it looks like. Text the word rollover to 385-644-6541. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you soon.